Election Central on WBBM.
It's day one of the Democratic National Convention, already shaping up to be an eventful week. WBBM's Carolina Garibay.
Before the official start of the DNC, hundreds of people took to Michigan Avenue over the weekend to march for reproductive rights, LGBTQ rights, and an end to the Israel-Hamas war.
Election Central on News Radio 105.9 WBBM. Live local reporting from United Center and the Democratic National Convention.
On day one of the Democratic National Convention yesterday, some of Kamala Harris's Illinois supporters said they were feeling confident of her victory in November. WBBM's political editor Craig Dellamore's inside the United Center.
There's no question that there's a palpable excitement surrounding the candidacy of Kamala Harris at this convention. There's optimism. But what will it take to keep the momentum of the first weeks going? Illinois delegate and Chicago Alderman Walter Burnett Jr. had a possibly surprising answer.
I think this is the type of momentum that she don't even have to do anything. That momentum is just going to keep rolling because every time that other guy speaks, for which I don't want to say his name, every time he speaks, he put his foot in his mouth. I mean, he's so disrespectful to women. Any man who honors their wives and their mothers and their daughters, man, cannot vote for that guy.
Some of his fellow delegates and public officials do believe it will take a lot of work to keep the momentum going, but they all appear ready to do the work. Covering the Democratic National Convention, Craig Delamore, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
United Center neighbors continue to feel the impact of the Democratic National Convention in town this week. That story from WBBM's Brandon Eisen.
It's just unbelievable how people get together for things that they believe in. And it's a good thing. To me, it's a good thing.
Julia lives in the West Haven Park building at the corner of Lake and Walcott. We spoke to her as thousands of demonstrators made their way under the L tracks on Lake Street, right past her doorstep. A wall of Chicago police officers between her and them. She says in addition to not feeling any sense of fear from the demonstrations this week, that in her opinion, Chicago police have done an excellent job of keeping the peace.
They've been awesome. They have been awesome. They have been patient. They have been alert and keeping us safe and very respectful to the protesters.
And while many nearby residents did enjoy a little free speech and added excitement, there were many who also found the demonstrations disruptive and confusing, particularly when it came down to parking and the use of a small neighborhood park. Brandon Eisen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Thousands of people are in Chicago for the Democratic National Convention, but some local restaurants say business is kind of slow.
It's the start of lunch hour at Pittsfield Cafe, which sits on Washington Street just off Michigan Avenue in the Loop. Normally, the eatery would be packed with hungry customers.
But as you see, there's a lot of empty spots.
Manager Marcel Rodriguez says she expected a lot more foot traffic during the DNC. She even brought in extra staff to prepare for the rush.
I don't know what's going on. I think the people stay at home, and that's it.
Rodriguez says sales are about half of what they usually are on any given day. Some other restaurants in the Loop tell WBBM business is down significantly. Rachel Pearson, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
On day 3 of the Democratic Convention, several local vendors are inviting delegates and volunteers to let out their creative side at McCormick Place.
From festive DNC-themed manicures, they are gorgeous, to bedazzled Kamala Harris iron-on patches.
We have one that says, I'm with her. Then we have the pink and green because that symbolizes the AKA sorority that she's in.
To make your own DNC Harris friendship bracelets.
I have DNC spelled out with some stars and then some red, white, and blue beads.
There's no shortage of creative ways to commemorate the DNC at Dempalooza, which features more than 75 Chicago vendors, including Nail Issues, Patch Party Club, and Denia Designs for You, which are also all black and woman-owned. Ebony Anderson of Nail Issues says arts and crafts and manicures are more than just some fun ways to pass the time.
It's important to be here to showcase more minority-owned businesses, especially black-owned businesses by women. We're a part of history.
Carolina Garibay, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
During the ceremonial roll call of the states to nominate Kamala Harris as the Democratic Party's candidate for president tonight, Governor Pritzker got to announce the vote. That part of our coverage from WBBM political editor Craig Dellamore.
When it came time for Illinois to cast its delegates' vote, State Democratic Party Chair Lisa Hernandez passed the mic to Governor J.B. Pritzker, who did the usual celebratory recitation.
The great state of Illinois, the Prairie State, home of 4 presidents, including President Barack Obama. The birthplace of skyscrapers and the adopted home of Superman. The cornerstone of the Midwest Blue Wall. The first state to ratify the 13th Amendment ending slavery.
And when it was over, he said the state casts 176 votes for Kamala Harris. At the United Center, Craig Dellamore, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Well, the FBI and Chicago police investigating whether someone tried to contaminate a breakfast for delegates to the Democratic National Convention. WBBM's Jim Goodis is live at the Anchor Desk with what we've learned so far. Jim.
Lisa, a statement from the DNC Joint Information Center says multiple females entered the Fairmont Hotel and placed unknown objects onto tables containing food before leaving the area. One person was treated on scene for an unspecified condition. As for what was left on the tables, descriptions have ranged from maggots to crickets.
Election Central, complete coverage from the Democratic National Convention here in Chicago.
The first black woman to have a seat in the U.S. Senate is getting ready to watch Kamala Harris accept her party's nomination. WBBM's political editor Craig Dellamore reports from the United Center.
Kamala Harris was not the first black woman to be elected to the United States Senate. That was Chicago's Carol Mosley Braun, who was an Illinois delegate to this convention. And Braun says she would have followed Joe Biden to the gates of hell. But he has chosen not to run again and has endorsed Kamala Harris, and she's ready to do everything in her power to get her elected. But how do you sustain the momentum that seems to be here?
That's the issue, and that's what she's going to be grappling with in the next coming days and weeks. But 77 days, right, before we get there. But I think it'll be sustained by the people in this room. I think the enthusiasm is sincere and deep and genuine. So that being said, I believe that we can do it in November.
She says she's happy Kamala Harris may be the first one to cross that presidency finish line. At the United Center, Craig Dellamore, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
The DNC is now in the rearview mirror, but the campaigning continues. And as WBBM's Mike Krauser reports, so does the work returning the city to its residents.
We're near the United Center, where many streets are still barricaded and will be for some time. Reopenings are happening piecemeal, and there is a lot of work to be done. That will continue throughout the weekend here and around McCormick Place. With the convention behind us, there is now reflection. Police Superintendent Larry Snelling.
What we've learned here is that preparation is everything. 2 things you need for success: opportunity and preparation. We had the opportunity to respond to the Democratic National Convention, and we were prepared for it. And that preparation came through training. And our officers just worked with a level of pride that was just unbelievable.
Predictions of mayhem didn't really come to pass. There was some, but nothing like some feared. We know some downtown dwellers who left town for the week expecting the worst. Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Our top local story on News Radio WBBM. Democratic National Convention delegates are starting to head home today after being energized over the nomination of Kamala Harris as president. WBBM's Bernie Tafoya talked to some of them at Midway Airport.
The convention was nothing short of amazing. Daryl Parks is returning home to Tallahassee, Florida to campaign for Kamala Harris and other Democrats. Every delegate we spoke with had nothing but positive things to say, not only about the convention, but about Chicago and its people. Patrick McGill of Washington, D.C. sampled some of the great food, biked along the lakefront, and went to Wrigley Field.
An amazing city. I had gone to the convention in 2012 in Charlotte, and that city could barely handle all the incoming people from around the country. Chicago handled it without a hiccup.
Juanita Martinez of Eagle Pass, Texas, a key point in the immigration debate, wanted to thank Chicago for its hospitality.
I just want to send out a big old thank you. Thank you.
We'll be back.
We will
to
be back.
visit. Yeah, just to
we'll
visit.
be back just to visit.
Another Texas delegate also loved the weather. He said he's going back to triple-digit temps. at Midway Airport. Bernie Tafoya, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.